Hello everyone, it's Lewis and Rika, and today we've got a little bit of a different video, more of a conversation recap podcast, if you will.
Yeah, thought we'd try something different.
Yeah.
It's a special day for us because today is our 1 year anniversary of us being married.
Yeah, that's correct. So we just thought, no expectations really. We just set up our camera and a lighting rig in our living room / second only room.
Yeah, in our one bedroom unit.
Yep. And yeah, we just thought we'd recap our year and kind of touch base in a more of a lengthy, informal kind of chat, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know where do you want to start. So today is, I guess, February 18th. 12 months ago, we got married.
Yeah, what's the time?
It's 2:30.
2:30, so we wouldn't even been married yet.
No.
I would have still been getting ready. You would have been with the boys. Would you be at the venue yet? Nearly.
Yeah, I'd be at the venue, 100%.
Yeah, you would have been at the venue helping set up.
Bossing everyone around. Everyone's asking me where things were, and I'm like, look, I can't call Rika. I have no idea. Let's just hope that that's okay.
Yeah. So for context, we got married at Carrick Hill, Springfield, Adelaide, South Australia. And it was a beautiful venue. It was a very old heritage building with gardens and hills and vine. Like, how would you explain it?
Probably like more of like a rustic kind of gothic kind of church vibe.
It's not gothic.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's very Bridgerton vibes for anyone that's ever watched Bridgerton. It's
like
kind
Downton
of like,
Abbey.
Yeah, it's very that kind of vibe with huge gardens and everything. But it was beautiful. We loved our wedding and it was such a great day, good weather. Sorry, just fixing his hair. But yeah, we loved our wedding day.
Yeah. It was actually like a donated venue from like an old person. There's heaps of history to it. It's like was someone's house and then they gave it to the state and the state kind of made it like a listed place with public. It's awesome. Yeah, so we wanted to do like a 12-month, like I guess 2024, 2023 kind of reflection / projections, but you know, time gets away. It's currently February. So we thought what a good opportunity to reflect on not only our last year, but also our year of marriage, because we basically got married at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts or anything that we found challenging or any advice for those people that are getting married? Or
I think, I guess, because when we went out for breakfast in the morning, we were asking each other some really cool questions. I think it'd be really, I guess, cool to reflect on, I guess, the challenges we faced, things we learnt, what we would like to see in our next year of marriage. How we dealt with our faith and church commitments. You know, I think it'd be really cool to talk about that.
Yeah, we can do that. Where do you want to start?
I reckon let's talk about our highlights and then our challenges.
Cool. Highlights. Want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Oh my gosh. Should I actually prepare for this? Highlights, obviously, building life together. You know, I'm 23 at the moment. Got married at 23. Yeah. No, 22. 22. Math. Got married at 22. Rika's a year older than me. Stereotypically, traditionally, that might be young for tradition, but stereotypically now, it's quite young as well to get married, right?
Well, normally back in the day, people get married younger than we do.
Right.
But typically now people get married older.
True. The average age of marriage, I think, is 30 at the moment. So quite young. You know, I'm still not working full-time. When we first met, I was studying, and then I actually turned to a full-time job after my bachelor's program. Rika was full-time. We were both like, minimum wage. I was not earning much. So yeah, I'm still trying to find my career. I'm still studying. I'm at my second year of master's this year. So like, you know, we don't have everything established, but we have the honor of building a life together, which I think is the best. Like, I feel like that's the highlight for me, is learning how we function together, which can be quite challenging. You know, I've learnt how to cook better. I learnt how to pick up after myself. I learnt how to make my bed properly. And I feel like I've developed a lot, you know, in those kind of like ad hoc daily activities.
Because what do you reckon you didn't do before we got married that you do now?
I didn't do. Oh.
Like your bed.
Like for me, wake up on time. Or like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have, stuck to a routine. I wouldn't have cooked as much. I didn't have as a rigid kind of routine. It was very like, it would swing out of balance, but then I'd also swing the pendulum on the other side. So probably that, probably bed, cleaning. I wouldn't have wiped a lot of things down. Like, I learned the difference between clean and tidy.
Absolutely. I told you that.
I don't know if you want to turn this up a bit.
Yeah, there's definitely a thing I had to teach you, is that there's a tidy and there's a clean. Mm-hmm. And a clean house is like, you get rid of the dust, you wipe the table down after you eat dinner, you make your bed, you actually clean your sheets, and you vacuum the floor.
Okay, you're painting a bad picture. I clean my sheets.
Auntie Anne was your saviour. Come on.
I am your saviour.
Oh, no.
Yes.
But yes, I feel like marriage was good for the both of us. Because I feel I am naturally probably a bit more rigid and a bit more... Like, I feel like you bring the fun in my life.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, you're kidding. He's just holding his breath. No, you bring the fun in my life, and you remind me to, like, be calm, to take day by day, because I feel like if it was up to me without God's grace, I would just be like, I'd plan every day till I was 50, or like, I would be so unaware of like being spontaneous, going with whatever comes with us. And I think you were really good at bringing that into my life and building my faith on like what God can do for us. And I really think that was something we really saw in this season with our relationship, was just like God opening so many doors for us.
Yeah.
The way he blessed us and he answered so many prayers for us. Because, Lewis, when we first got married, we were on honeymoon in Japan. Lewis got accepted into his master's for speech pathology.
And you didn't have a job. You were unemployed.
I just quit my job, and we were
both unemployed.
Yeah, I quit my job like 4 weeks out from getting married. Lewis got accepted into speech path, which meant he had to quit his full-time job. So we were both unemployed. And we were just starting this life out with like no job, no money. We were just believing in faith that God was going to bless us. And and then literally we got back. Lewis went straight into uni.
Like, I literally did some uni work while we're on honeymoon. So I thought uni starts end of March. But it like literally started like in 26th of Feb or something.
Yeah, it was
and we were still on honeymoon.
So it was literally the following week.
So I'm in Japan. The vlogs are there. And like towards the end of the vlog, I'm like, I need to email my educators saying I'm going to be late because he can't defer or anything. And I need to get this underway. I need to get my textbooks. I need to get all this stuff. And then literally, as soon as I touched down, the day, I think it was the day of, because I was like, I'll say I'll go to uni the next day. But then I felt so like FOMO. I was like, I'm just going to go. Wasn't too jet lagged. Just waltzed into class.
Oh, it wasn't the day off. It was the next day.
The next day?
It was
okay. I think I wanted to have a day off. Maybe like I wanted 48 hours. But instead it was just 24. And then literally straight into uni. And you were finding work. Yeah, you were like drafting resumes.
I was drafting resumes. And because from my previous job, I was with them for about 10 years. So I was like pretty much taking a step of faith and being like, let's just see what's out there, what I have to offer, and just, spread my wings a bit. And I was applying for jobs, and I reckon I didn't land a job for 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. So we were literally surviving on our savings. Because Lewis had no income, I had no income.
We had savings.
Yeah, but we had savings. But
prior to this,
there was like no savings by the end.
Prior to this, I did have a year of full-time work because I had a kind of a gap year after my study because... Unfortunately, a Bachelor of Arts and Linguistics with Japanese is quite a ludicrous, rare qualification. So I wanted to do research, which isn't the most financially stable. Did pharmacy. Obviously, our relationship grew, got to a point where I'm like, look, we're saving. This can bankroll our wedding. I need to specialise. And there's something that I actually want to talk about for those that are in the dating phase, thinking of getting married or are engaged. Housing. I think we should talk about that as well, purely about our situation with trying to build in Mount Barker and like what we learnt and how I grew. I know we're recapping our year, but I think this is really important to talk about. we wanted to build in Mount Barker. We had everything sorted, all the stars aligned, except for COVID, inflation, things moving up, interest rates rising. It kind of put us in a rock and a hard place. And mind you, we were both on minimum wage, basically. I was just a pharmacy assistant. And do you want to explain that part of the story we nearly got?
Yeah, because the hardest thing with it was we were going to build in Mount Barker, and it was pretty much like our dream. Like, we'd secured the land, we'd gone to like the construction, we've been to the construction company and done our floor plans, our color selections, like everything. Like, we'd done measurements, everything, and it'd been a process. And we'd pretty much signed everything off, laid our deposit down. And so we had 24 hours pretty much with the bank because they approved our loan. And then within that 24 hours, the builders came back and were like, oh, it's going to be another $70,000 on top of what you'd been approved of from the bank. So we'd have to find that cash in hand ourselves. And this was at the start of the interest rate rises, which I believe there's been 6 or 7 now. Since then. And so Lewis was like, look, I don't think this is going to be good for us in our first year of marriage.
Nah.
To be under financial pressure, to be maxing out in our mortgage, to be finding like the extra money if there's any like upgrades in the build, which always happens when things sell out and then they have to get better concrete or whatsoever. So Lewis had to make that really hard decision because he knew I was so invested into this house. And I knew it would be a process that if we decided to say no to the house, that it would be a 3 to 4 year sacrifice until we could do that again, because we'd be dropping our full-time jobs when we get to Adelaide for him to go into masters, because at this point we didn't know he was going to accept it.
I could have not got accepted and just been like, oh, might even do pharmacy, or like not even just work full-time and try and do business, try and do YouTube, try and just like pay off this house without a qualification per se, or try and use my linguistics.
And then I was at my old job as a cafe manager, and I guess the payoff would have been I'd had to stay there for a little bit longer so we could survive and pay for that house. So we just decided we're going to have to declare financial hardship with the bank, which wasn't, it sucked, but it only wrote off that one bank and we could go again with another.
And don't mind you, because the actual builders kind of moved the goalpost, because the bank approved on X amount, and then literally a few days later, the builder said it's actually going to be Y. It's going to be a little bit more. And we're like, well, we actually got approved for this amount. And they said, sorry. So on that basis, we could actually say, look, we didn't actually, we failed finance because we could only get finance for this amount. So we actually were managed to get a refund from the land deposit, which was a bit of a oh my goodness, because that was the only moment where we could. Because if we pushed through and then got bankrupt, or we had to rip that house to its bare bones to find $70,000 somewhere, it just wouldn't have been a pleasant experience. And I'm glad, and this is where God comes in, because we were like, I don't know if I'm studying. I don't want to work at the pharmacy for the rest of my life unqualified. I want more for us. We want a house. And then long story short, we get the deposit back. We only lose the floor plans costs to get the building, which we get to keep, but it's still, a couple grand. And then the first unit Rika applies for in the crazy housing market. There was a 0.7% vacancy rate. So the housing market was on such high demand. Yeah. So then Rika was with the roommate at the time. We're still engaged. I was with my grandpa. Christian dating, it's not the easiest thing. But anyway, Rika managed to get this place first application. We've applied before, while I was at uni, just for,
Have we?
I have. Yeah. Just for accommodation, just for with some friends, 3 of us, let's move in. I'm like, oh yeah, give it a go. No luck at all, obviously, our wages, but landlords approved of us. We got it straight away. Literally the week after we got knocked back with this house, Rick was obviously grieving, we get this unit. So it was a really good confirmation, and then obviously marriage.
Yeah, and it was just God's hand. I just felt like it was God's Band-Aid on me being I'm so sorry that the house didn't work out, but I'll provide you a home to live in for us to be married in. And it was just so good. Like, we literally live in one of the most beautiful suburbs in Adelaide. Not the most, but it's in East Adelaide, and we love it here. Obviously I'd love a bigger place, but it's done us so well.
Legit.
It's like 7 to 10 minutes from my work. It's close to our church. It's just like
it's close to everything. You know, Adelaide's half an hour to anything. We're like,
and it's 5 minutes to the freeway.
Yeah, it's really close. Without giving away our address, it's close to the city.
You can't give away the address. There's so many houses. But it's beautiful. But yeah, outside of the house, married life has been good. We've had the ups and downs. I don't even know where we were before.
Before what, marriage?
No, before we started talking about the house.
Oh, we're just talking about
our jobs and stuff. So I was 6 weeks out of a job, and then you were at uni, and then I think I applied for a few, and then I got 2 interviews. One at a digital marketing agency, and then one I was supposed to go for an EA position, and I interviewed for that. And unfortunately, I didn't have quite enough experience for the position. But however, the company that were hiring introduced me to their boss, and I got hired as their PA for their executive team, which was so good at the time.
Massive foot in.
Yeah, massive foot in. It got me the experience I needed. And then literally 6 months later, I just really felt in my heart that I just needed something with a bit more purpose in it. Like, I just wanted to do something that was for people, that was people-centered, that was going to push me. And my dream was to be an EA. And 6 months later, this position came up. I wasn't even actively looking, but it just kind of came up. And I was like, Lewis, this job looks really good. Should I do it? And Lewis was like, yeah, just do it.
I'm like, the best time to look for a new job is when you've got a job.
Yeah. And so I stepped out and I was like, okay, I'll just apply. And it happened so fast. Literally, I applied within like 24, 48 hours. They were like, come in for an interview. And then I got the interview. And within 24 hours, they scheduled like all the HR stuff and got all my things done. And then literally within the week, I had landed the position. And now I'm literally sitting in my dream job as an EA. And again, I had like a small little promotion within that time. I've been there for 3 months and I got another little promotion. And I can now do my EA job with an events coordinator role. So I'm merged between both.
So cool.
And tentatively, which is like my dream, to be able to do admin and events.
That's so cool.
So God's been so good to us in like finance and provision.
And just setting ourselves up. And obviously, not to like make our life seem all like bells and whistles, but there were some hardships, obviously. Especially like my side of the family. Had like my pop pass away, which was like super sad. He didn't make our wedding, which was like pretty sad. So I lived with him since I was 18, since I basically married Rika, because I had no place to live. So it's like pretty full on being able to like live with someone for 4 or 5 years, do the daily, kind of become a man in front of, I think it was 94, 95, 94. I can't remember. Anyway, it was a great experience to live with Pop. And then, so he passed away, which is super sad. And also like my Uncle Chris, so his eldest son, also passed away that same year, which was a bit tough for our family, but, it brought us together. I failed an exam at the end of the year, which was like full on, like figuring out work life, church balance, serving others, but also valuing ourselves, valuing my health, fitness,
It's pretty tough because at the time you were doing tutoring on a Monday night.
Oh, yeah.
We had a side hustle, so we were hosting Airbnbs on the side, and then we were working on a Saturday. I was working full time, and then plus your full time study and serving at church.
Yeah, so it was like Monday to Friday was uni, usually Wednesday, Thursday placement, and then Saturday I'd work 9 till 5, and then church would be anywhere from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. on a Sunday, depending on what we're doing. and then repeat. Uni again Monday.
And then Tuesday nights you'd have meetings.
And then Tuesday nights we'd have meetings, and then I'd volunteer Wednesday nights for Red Frogs, which was like, I love doing it. Don't get me wrong, I love doing all the stuff that I do, but it got a lot. And then I decided to run a marathon with my mum, which was like amazing. I did it, which is awesome, but that takes a toll on our time, because then after work on a Saturday, I'd have to run for like 3 hours on a Sunday. So I'd wake up.
Which would be our only time.
Which would be our only time.
Because we'd only have Sunday morning till 2 p.m. together for the whole entire week.
So it'd be like Monday night I'd be tutoring, and we have like family dinner on that night. So some nights I'd have to dip out, which like that paid well. That was on Zoom. And then all throughout the week, non-stop, we'd get guests on Airbnb texting us, hey, the hot water's not working. Hey, this door isn't opening. Hey, the alarm's off. Hey, can you restock this? All getting texts from a lovely property and lovely team. But it was a lot of front loading. So it was like a lot of early upfront work, tying it all together with like the emotions of new house, new this, financial strain, Rika earning all our money, I'm just studying, failing exam, people passing away, no day off, no Sabbath, nothing to relax. So it was like reflective, thinking. It was actually quite a lot for me. But the grass is so much greener now. I'm not working Saturdays. Rika got a promotion. My serving's more refined for church. I'm no longer doing the Airbnb and no longer tutoring. I'm playing basketball.
Yeah, which I think brings context to why we were so grateful that God blessed me with that EA job, because it really opened those doors for us financially. Just because we were like, we're not getting any time together. Lewis is not getting any rest. He's not getting enough time to study and is failing his exam.
I did very well until the last exam.
Yeah, to his last exam for the whole year.
And I've got lots of excuses as to why I failed just that exam. I resat and passed. I'm all good. But I just had like two exams back to back.
But you could say that because you were so busy throughout the year, you didn't give your attention to your study very well. You were kind of just putting it together. Yeah. Whereas I think this is your final year of your master's. I just think it would be honouring to God for you to like do this year well and to actually feel equipped for when you finish, to actually understand everything you're studying. So you can feel like, I'm actually a speech pathologist. I haven't just got a degree and a certificate and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Look, I know what I'm doing. But yes, I understand. And that was like, I think nothing's ever wasted. Those skills of being able to push myself to the absolute max to run a marathon in the midst of all this stuff going on is, I wouldn't say it's virtuous, but it's like some seasons you have that. Like it's admirable. Like it's admirable. Admirable. To be able to do that. And I think as a man, it's like, it's a duty to like provide, and like that might look like a lot of things, but yeah, I had lots of vents and people to catch up with but yeah, that was kind of like a recap of our year, but there's a lot more details.
Yeah, I think a huge part of what I struggled in those last 12 months was just figuring out myself and my like friendships. Friendships was a huge thing because I think I just felt incredibly lonely in that time. And I just didn't want it to be me and Lewis alone against the world. Like I wanted to know that when we're community. 50, that we have friends still, that we have people to have catch-ups with for dinner, with our kids. Sorry, do we need to stop?
No, that's good.
Okay. I just really struggled with friends, and Lewis really saw the brunt of that. I struggled to go to church. I struggled to stay behind at meetings. I just felt really, really insecure myself. And I felt like I compared myself to you a lot because I felt like you could just get along with anyone and everyone and hang out to the sunrise, like you could just hang out with whoever. And I just felt very like, I don't really know who I am. I don't know where I fit at church. I don't know how to like fit in or get along with people. I just feel very isolated. And I really prayed for that. And I took a sacrifice to step back from my serving to really focus to find community, because I knew like outside of God, community was what's going to keep me there, like what's going to keep me rocking up, because I just felt so insecure. And God really blessed me. Probably took me about 6 months, I reckon. And I met my beautiful friend Lisa. And she was just a saving grace for me in that season. We would cry all the time over the phone in the car. She would literally send me prayers most days, and I'd send her prayers. And I just really felt like, she really softened my heart again and really opened my eyes to where I was bitter against people, bitter against the church. I really felt, that was really healing for us as well, because she brought so much fun to us as well as a couple, because she's not only just my friend, but she's your friend too. But I really feel that was something that I had to get over, that you couldn't really have heaps of control of, because you're like, I just need you to be confident and just like find friends, but you couldn't like do that for me. But so I really feel so much better on this side of the fence. I feel like my life is so much better now. I'm happily serving in areas I love being a part of. I've got great friends that I love spending time with. Lewis is my best friend, which is so good, and how it should be. But I just really think we have so much to be grateful for.
100%.
Because we've had a great year of marriage, with its ups and downs.
Of course. No, that's awesome. I might get a quick drink. Is that all right?
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
Okay.
See you guys in a sec. No, Rika, that's really cool. Really, really cool. It's really interesting. I feel like a lot of people that, and I just want to preface this. You can put it here if you want. I just want to preface that, those people that are in a community, it doesn't have to be a church community or just any community in general. For our context, we base church as our group of people that gather at a certain time to kind of be together and to, be like the old school village, as I like to put it. But for those that are getting married, it's two lives becoming one, which can put a toll on friendships, norms in life. And I feel like there's that stereotype of that couple that kind of go into that cave once they get married. And I think every couple has to go into that cave and come out. And I feel like that for us was combining our finances, combining our nature, combining the way we do things, combining our friendships. Where are we heading? What do we believe? Why do we believe? And that's all happening while life is moving forward.
Yeah.
So for those that are getting married or thinking of combining it, Christian or not, just in community in general, like things got to merge and they've got to act a little bit differently. And obviously, some people are doing this without getting married and that's just how they choose to do their life. But, we believe marriage is something that is worth, like it's a sacrifice. It's something that's like, hey, I'm going to lay down my life and become one with you. It's really exciting to see that, Rika, you've navigated friends through this. You haven't just, completely attached to me. You've navigated your own passions and interests. You've navigated your job so well. You're so independent and all these things. Excuse me. And I think that's really important, as well as kind of being one and heading in one direction was really, really cool that we managed to, I feel like, do pretty well. And I just hate to see couples that are doing, something really well in like their dating engagement. And then once, things hit the fan and like finance and work and career start to become a priority because, hey, my first responsibility is Rika. Obviously, God, myself, and Rika, like that's the order, but I've got to provide for her. I've got to put food on the table. I've got to make sure that she's safe. Like, that becomes way more important than just, I don't know, being cool or serving in all these departments or being the best person in the job or anything like that. You got to try and get those priorities right, which does take some time. And I feel like, we're not perfect at what we do, but I feel like we've navigated it pretty well from someone that wants to do business and wants to excel in things which are, not as usual to excel in. But I don't know what you think about that. But
yeah, but I just thought, it'd be worth mentioning for anyone that is in their dating phase, just know the wait is worth it.
Yeah.
Like, if you know what I mean? Like, the wait is worth it.
Yeah.
Just because, I just think, yes, there will be struggles when you're dating with boundaries.
Whereas barely armor we needed.
With boundaries and everything, like, it will happen. But just know that the wait is really worth it. It's beautiful. It's fun. And I just think you really discover it together. And practice makes perfect.
All right, next subject. Yeah, cool.
Obviously, you hate talking about it.
Especially on like the interwebs. That's good. Anything else you want to talk about that comes to this year, or challenges, highlights that you've had that you feel are worth sharing with the universe?
I don't know. I think I'm just really excited because this weekend we went shopping for a lounge, which is something that I've been wanting for so long. And fun fact as well, Lewis wanted a microwave the first day we moved in, which is really common, which is honestly so normal. But I was like, we don't have money. We've just spent all our savings paying for us to survive for 6 weeks. And like, I don't know, we just had no money. And I was like, Lewis, we're literally surviving without having a microwave. We'll be okay.
Which
and then
true.
We decided this year that we were going to try and prioritize our health, because I gained quite a lot of weight in our first year of marriage. I think I moved from hospitality, which is a very active job, to admin, which you're literally sitting all day. You average probably less than 1,000 steps. And I was just stressed, and I had to feed you, who eats way too many calories. And I'm like, how do I cook for someone who needs that many calories while also not having to cook a separate meal for me? So this year we've decided we're going to commit to our health, and try and do meal prep or order meal prep, which involves a microwave. So we decided to invest in a microwave, and we also invested in Lewis's studio setup, which is a part of what we're doing today. We got a cool monitor for you.
Prism Plus would recommend.
A big wide one. And we got some setup stuff for his desk, and we got a new laptop as well.
That was at the start. That was for Rika's PA job.
Which I never used. So it's yours. It's literally his. I don't think I ever used it for my job.
It's ours.
But which was lucky because you broke your other one.
It broke, okay? It broke.
So my deal was, well, not deal, but we decided to agree, because we'd invested in the studio, the microwave, and bits and pieces, that we would invest in together a new lounge.
Because the Chesterfield's great. Don't get me wrong. We're not some snobby group of like rich people. This was gifted. I think it's expensive, but it's not the comfiest thing on the earth.
It's a nice art piece.
We've just noticed that guests come into our home and don't really have many places to sit.
And they voluntarily don't sit on it. So
not sure
there's
why.
a problem.
I think it's the 50,000 pillows you've put on it. But
maybe.
Anyway.
I just don't know where else to store them in this unit.
Yeah, there's not much space. But.
So we've invested to get a bigger lounge that's a bit more in depth. So it's kind of like a chase, but not. So hopefully if we do another podcast, there'll be a new lounge by then. But we put a 30% deposit on one, so I'm really excited.
And this is the thing, this is the thing, you guys. We don't, all this stuff slowly accumulated. Our savings is kind of going down, up, but it's the trend is naturally going down. But we're not spending it on junk. It seems to be microwave, kind of a non-negotiable. We'd get a new knife set because we need sharper knives. And then we might spend it on a plant because that boosts their morale. And then I'd get a $50 ice bath because that's just a toy. That's a toy. But then we'd get, a new quilt set or a new dispenser or a new internet modem. We got internet.
We're just slowly doing our home.
Oh my gosh, for example, I'd open the closet and there's a pile of shoes in this wardrobe. And then we ended up buying an IKEA shoe rack.
It's not from IKEA, but that's okay.
Whatever. I call it IKEA. We just start getting things that actually increase, like got a coffee machine. Oh my goodness, that was a massive milestone in that year of marriage.
But that was
My
gift.
birthday.
That was a gift. From
Anyway,
someone.
all I'm saying is don't feel like you have to have everything straight away. Or get anything. So like my thought was this. Get anything cheap and on sale that works. Rika's like, it has to be gold, beige or neutral and nice. And if that's the case, we have to wait 6 months because it always costs 10 times more than the alternative.
Which is not true. Like, I got a lot of our stuff in here. Like, our stools were gifted. This was gifted. I got this mirror for $80 on Gumtree. And our dining table is beautiful. Is a nice colour. I got that for like $90. And our 2 chairs were from Target. I did this really well. So
You did.
I don't think I agree with that statement.
Okay. To be fair, Rika is a Facebook Marketplace Cert 3 in Facebook Marketplace or whatever. She's so smart at finding bargains and deals and not getting scammed, surprisingly. So yeah, Facebook Marketplace was something that I learnt this year. I'm also a certified botanist now. We've got plants that I adore and I love growing them.
Yeah, he's in, like, we bought them and Lewis was like, yeah, we'll get them. Now he literally has a plant that he counts its leaves every day. He's like, there's another one. There's another one.
And I love this chili plant. We have a chili plant outside, which
You don't
kinda
love
died.
it. You literally neglected it. I brought it back to life.
Nah, man.
Yeah, it was dry and barren and I brought it back to life.
No, I put the soil back in. I cleaned the outside of it.
After I brought it back to life.
Anyway, she needs me. That's all it is.
Okay. But, yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
What are we looking forward to for this next year?
I want to start thinking about my speech pathology practice. I also want to start thinking about uploading more content. I also want to start thinking about being more creative. And I talk about this year being the year of application. I want to apply myself more, hence we are recording this. I still quite haven't found my groove in the social media front. Who am I type thing on that front. And I keep thinking that I don't have a strong work ethic, but after listening to all the stuff I did last year, I feel like I do end up getting a lot of things done. It's just because I do a lot of things, I don't have enough energy to do what I want. So kind of just refining that, figuring out, hey, this thing is valuable, whatever this thing may be, I'm going to put my energy in it as if it's something that's valuable. And I'm just trying to convince myself that, hey, these podcasts that we're doing together is just as valuable as anything else, purely because I deem it so. So have that kind of mindset. Yeah, maybe exercise more, maybe run on a marathon, maybe get bulk. I'm trying to gym, which is the thing that I've been doing. I've put on like 10 kilos.
Same.
That's so
Bulking.
Yeah, what else am I looking forward to? What else is happening this year, really? Not.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying to lose the 10 kilos that I've bulked.
You can't.
Yeah, so I really would love to prioritize losing some weight just because I've never been this heavy in my entire life. But that's okay. I'm giving myself some grace, but I do need to get back into looking after my well-being. And I really want to prioritize, I think, just enjoying this year, because I feel like we got into the swing of it in the second half of last year. But I just want to enjoy being together, doing life together, being in community, serving well and doing life well, because I felt like we got through a lot of last year on just getting through. But I really, because I feel like we're in the spot now where we have the extra capacity to do things better. I think, yeah, like doing stuff like this more, and not just creating it, but actually editing it and like scheduling it. Like we want to sit down and think about our calendar and picking days that are, you know, these days are the 2 days we can socialize with whoever we want, whenever. And these are the days that we want to go to the gym or we commit to church. Yeah, we want to, I guess, have a bit more of a plan rather than just getting through it. Savings always on the go, but I think we've also understood that if we don't actually financially have the capacity to in this chapter, that's okay, because we know like at the end, literally by November, Lewis can start working full time again. So we know that once he's got his income, we literally can save his literal whole income for a year and keep surviving fine on what I'm on.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just excited because I know that we're kind of coming to the end of this part of like you studying, and that we'll be able to have a bit more freedom to start applying everything that we've been building on. Because I feel like a lot of this is like, let's just build the foundation, lay the foundation.
Yeah.
So that when we're ready, we've got it. Because, it's just stuff like this that we're practicing our skill. We're utilizing the stuff that we have already. And I think, I just would love to see us be more alive in these spaces of what we have. Because, we've got the equipment now. We don't really have the excuses anymore.
We've got the internet now.
We've got the time. We're together on a Saturday now. Like, we don't really have any more excuses. So I just think it's an exciting year. I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited.
I'm so excited. I feel like there is a bit of like post-business stress disorder. Like, it's almost like like last year I was like striving to have a break. All I wanted to do was have a break. And then once I had the break, I kind of was like, the anxiety or the stress of like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I had that guilt of like, I need to be doing something. So I really struggled to relax well. And then on the other hand, I just feel like I need to relax, and then I wouldn't exercise or anything, and then I just feel yuck. So like trying to find that balance of like, I've earned this meal vibe, or I've earned this relaxation time because I've exercised. Kind of, obviously, I don't know how to explain it. I'm still trying to digest my thoughts behind it, but just kind of feel like I've worked the week and now I can rest. Like, plan it out so I can enjoy my rest guilt-free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we kind of discussed as well is that last year, like literally just before we got married, we started praying together every morning, and we kept that for the whole time. We prayed every morning, whether it be at the dining table before we walk out the door, or when Lewis was driving me to work, we pray together, and use that opportunity to intercede for people, to pray over like whatever we've got going on, or for help or anything. But I think for this year, we really want to try and implement more devotion time together.
Yeah.
Whether that's in small amounts and learning to do that, more intentionally, and for it to be more fruitful for us, because I think that's something that we lacked in last
100%.
year that we would love to start applying again.
Yeah. And I think like prayer is like so important, obviously from a biblical perspective. It's like casting all your worries and all your intercessions and all your thoughts to God, which is great. But it also has like a practical advantage. It's like when I'm praying with Rika, I actually have to hear and understand what's going on in her head, because she's not talking to me, she's talking to God, but it's also with me. So I can see what she's thinking about. I can see what's on her mind, what I can help her with purely just by her being vulnerable in that space. And I feel like it's also good, because if you have a crap morning and you don't want to pray on the way to work or here, it kind of puts that away. And it's still hard. But I think it's really good even for those people out there that aren't necessarily Christians, or they're not at the stage of praying, just being able to get with your partner and talk about the day. We take that a step further and put God in the middle of it. And I think it's like... And
I think it seriously is so good for our relationship, because I really felt it genuinely kept us centered, because when I really felt like we weren't unified that week, or we just were butting heads all the time, I just really felt like when we would pray together, there would be times where I would literally nearly cry, because you would thank God for me in the morning. And I would just be like, oh, I thought you were mad at me, but you're like, you're still saying that you thank God for your wife. And, like, even if I talk about it now, I'll probably cry. But I just think it's just such a humbling reminder that, like, to hear it out loud, that your partner is still thankful for you, and that they bring you to God on behalf. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're praying for me in front of me.
Yeah.
And I just think, it was just really good, because, I just really felt it was a reminder of our love and how God loves us. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. I was going to say, it's not like I'm doing this. Dear God, I just thank you for how annoying Rika is. And like it's not like that. It's like, but I think that's where it started. I actually got it from my brother David. I asked him about what he does. And because it's actually covering my partner and she covers me. So it's like I'm praying over Rika. Lord, protect her, make her day good, make all these things happen. Like that's like on my way of thinking. Yeah, I don't know about you. It's like I'm praying on you, for you, and then others, our family, what's going on. That's kind of like how I phrase it. And because I just think it's so important. It's like at the end of the day, I don't really have any control over Rika. Like I do, of course, like practically speaking. But from a grand scheme of things, like who am I to lead this woman? You know what I mean? Like I only lead you because I was first led. Anyway, I don't want to get super deep, but that's kind of how I look at it and why I value it so much. And I need to read the word more anyway. But I just think it's important, A, from a practical standpoint, to get with your spouse and chat about the day. That's great. But from a secondary spiritual perspective, which we value, is just that God tier.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think to wrap up, I reckon it's been a wonderful first year of marriage.
100%.
So thankful that I met you.
Aww.
So thankful that I married you and that God stopped you from going to Japan.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that God even put that passion on my heart, you know, to do that journey with you and to be excited for the same things. I just think we have so much to be thankful for, so much to look forward to. So thankful for our beautiful families.
We
have such good families on both sides. The Longs, the Todds, the Ridleys. We just have so many beautiful people in our lives, and they've supported us so much in this season. If I say any more, I'll probably cry.
Yeah, we're just very loved.
But we're just very loved. We have so much support, and we know some people don't have that, and we just never want to be ungrateful for that. And so many good friends and a really good God.
Yeah, through the midst, like I feel like we've come off on the top at the moment, but yeah, there were times where it was dark and it was down and it was hard. And, you know, sometimes our family were there, sometimes they weren't there, sometimes our friends were there, sometimes they weren't. But that's just life, you know, and we're so blessed to be loved by everyone around us and being championed to do what we feel called to do.
So if you enjoyed this or if you have any questions, leave a comment below, like and subscribe. But yeah, hopefully we do more of this. I know Lewis will definitely be doing more, but whether I am seen on this again, hopefully. But yes, let us know what you think. If you'd like us to do more, if there's a topic you'd like us to talk about, I think that would be fun. But yeah, we appreciate everyone that's watched.
Or listened.
That's true. Or listened.
Nah, cool. Well, I think we'll just end it there, hey, love?
Yeah. All right, until next time.
See you later. Subscribe.
Bye.